Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Caitlin and today I'm going to be talking about some of my 2021 goals and intentions that I will be setting for the year. I am really a planner at heart. I love to plan, I love to organize, I love to write out lists and goals and all that sort of stuff. So at the beginning of the year, I really love to kind of like focus and write lists of my goals, my intentions, and basically everything that I want to achieve in the year, and also take the time to reflect on the previous year's goals and intentions that I set myself and to see how I managed with those. So last year I actually had a really successful year. I only really had one main kind of like challenge or goal that I set for myself at the beginning of the year, and that was to do a handstand every single day in order to improve my handstands. And I do have a whole video that I'm planning to kind of go over how that whole challenge went, but it did go pretty well. I was really happy with the results, and that the success of kind of setting that intention at the beginning of the year and actually following through with it and carrying on with it has really motivated me to do that again this year and really set myself some challenges and goals and intentions to focus on this year. The other thing that I want to do in 2021 is I have actually set myself a theme for the year. And this is not my own idea. I did not come up with this. I was inspired by a video that CGP Grey did last year. And in the video, he basically spoke all about why it's a good idea to set a theme for your year, or even for just short periods of time in the year, to kind of focus your life and give you some direction towards that theme. I will link the video in the description down below. It's a really great video, and I really learned like a lot from it and found it really useful, and that's why I'm incorporating it into my like intentions this year. So definitely go watch that after this. So yeah, my theme for this year is going to be a year of understanding, and a year of understanding has kind of several different components to it at the moment. What I also like about this theme is that it's a very kind of broad theme, and it does give me a lot of opportunity to kind of change and adapt my intentions and my goals based around this theme if kind of situations arise. And that is really important for me this year, because going into 2021, there's a lot of uncertainty, both in kind of like my personal life of like what I'm going to be doing personally in the year, and also just in terms of like what the world will be like. Obviously with the whole COVID pandemic, things last year did not go according to plan at all. So I really am trying to kind of keep this theme and my intentions for the year kind of something that I can achieve even if circumstances are kind of beyond my control. So that's why I've gone with the theme, a year of understanding, a nice broad theme that I can kind of adapt to and change with if the need arises. So in terms of kind of like what I have in mind at the moment of specifics of that theme, the first thing that year of understanding means to me is understanding myself better. And this is going to be really a year that I want to focus heavily on journaling and reflecting on my own thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and really trying to understand myself as a person better. I can be very emotional. I can be prone to quite intense mood swings. Small things can kind of like set me off and like drastically change my mood. And I really want to kind of delve deeper into that and really understand and get to the root of kind of these emotional swings, mood swings that I'm having. And I really want to just, even if the mood swings themselves don't change and I still continue to have them, I really just want to understand my own emotional state better and really be able to be very in touch with how I'm feeling and what I'm feeling. And this is also because sometimes I feel like I don't always actually I don't always actually have a word or a label to put on my feelings. I'm not always able to identify how I am feeling in a particular moment. So I feel like through journaling and reflection, I can really work on that. I have been journaling this year. I started journaling consistently probably in about August of this year, and I say consistently, but it's only been kind of somewhat consistently. I have missed days. I've gone like for short periods without journaling at all. So this year the focus for me is to really journal every single day. Kind of no matter what, I want to at least write a sentence in my journal every single day. So one thing I've done to really kind of motivate myself to stick with the journaling this year is I've gone and I've bought myself a new journal to use this year. I've added a little like personalization on the front with my name on it, and I've set up a little vision board in the front of it that I can kind of look at every day. And that I call it a vision board. It's not really a vision board, it's just kind of a collection of inspiring photos, both that I found kind of like on the internet, on Pinterest mostly, and that I've taken myself the past year. I've got pictures of my dogs, pictures of me and my sister, my boyfriend and I, and then some like kind of aspirational images of like people doing handstands, splits, and then some just inspiring quotes and positive affirmations all in there that I can look at kind of every day when I'm doing my journaling. And then I'm also going to be setting up a mood tracker in my journal, and that mood tracker I will have to check in with every single day, and I will be coloring in different colors based on my mood that day, and I'll do that kind of month by month. So I'll have a mood tracker for each month of the year. So another thing that a year of understanding means for me is improving my understanding of the French language. So this is something that I've been working on for quite a number of years now. I would say probably all the way back to 2015, 2016. Since then, I really wanted to learn French. I've had the Duolingo app on my phone for literal like ages, for years now. But my effort hasn't always been like very concerted or very consistent with it. When I traveled to Montreal to compete at the World Pole Sports Championships in 2019, I did start putting in a bit more effort into trying to be like really consistent with learning French and actually putting a bit more effort into it. But at that time I was also training for the World Pole Sports Championships, so my time at that stage was kind of limited. I was also still studying during my undergrad at that time, and there was like a lot going on. So although I was trying to put more effort into the French, I didn't really make much progress. And then in 2020, at the beginning of the year, I decided to kind of like renew my French learning and my French consistency. I was tutoring at a school where there was a French teacher, and I would sometimes sit in on some of the French lessons when I had a free moment or a free opportunity, and I did try and do some like conversational practice with her, and I did get a lot more consistent with my Duolingo. I also bought myself a French textbook that I did some work in, and I set up for the first time an actual like file of all my kind of notes and material that I was using for French, because up until that point I'd been like trying to learn the French, but I hadn't had a very like consistent program with it. So this year my intention is really to just continue on the good positive trajectory that I started with the French in 2019 and continue on with that and really improve that. I want to start doing a lot more kind of speaking of French, and possibly finding a conversation partner or someone to actually speak French with on a regular basis, because my written kind of understanding of French has improved a lot, and I'm probably close to an intermediate level with like my written understanding. Most of the things that I read I can actually comprehend, but my speaking, especially like my pronunciation and my accent, is not very good yet. So that's something that I really want to put like a concentrated effort into improving this year, and that falls under the year of understanding is understanding French. Another thing that I will be applying year of understanding to is I want to read more and I want to educate myself more as well. I will be going back to university this year. I will be doing my postgraduate in philosophy, politics, and economics, which I'm really, really excited for. But one thing that did happen while I was studying my undergraduate degree is I stopped reading kind of recreationally and reading for pleasure. And I went from reading several books a month to hardly reading any books in the year. So taking my kind of like gap year in between my undergraduate and my postgraduate studies, I did start to read a little bit more, not like to the same level that I read when I was in high school, but I was like a huge bookworm in high school, so I don't think I will really ever get back to that level of reading. But I do want to get more consistent with my reading, and I want to read a lot more. And I also don't just want to read fiction books, and this is where kind of like the educating myself part comes in. I want to read books that are really going to expand and deepen my understanding of the world and people around me and the world around me and society. So I will still be reading like some fiction books, but I want to try and mix in a lot of non-fiction books as well. Again, this is something I kind of started this year. I read a couple of like books on economics this year, a couple of self-help books, and I read Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil this year, but I would kind of like to just carry that forward and continue with that and build on that going into 2021. So that kind of sums up my yearly theme of a year of understanding and what that kind of means to me at the moment. Of course, this might change as I go through the year, and I definitely am leaving it open to changing. We'll see where the year takes us. If 2020 has taught me anything, it's that you can really never know what to expect. But in addition to this kind of like broad theme that I have for 2021, this year of understanding theme, I've also got some daily habits and some smaller goals that I have kind of set up that I want to achieve that all kind of link back to this year of understanding. So I have 3 daily habits that I would like to establish kind of going into 2021. And this is kind of building on things that I've already somewhat incorporated into my life in the past year. So it's not going from like 0 to 100. These are things that I kind of do on a semi-regular basis already, but now I just want to solidify them and make them daily habits and basically keep myself more accountable to actually achieving these. So one thing I've already mentioned is journaling every single day. Even if I only write down 1 sentence, I am going to be writing in my journal every single day. The next thing, also again relating to my French, is I want to be spending at least 5 minutes working on my French every single day. Obviously 5 minutes is not a like large amount of time, and that is purposeful that I've only said 5 minutes because I do want to keep it like kind of realistic and achievable. So even on days where I'm completely not feeling like doing French, not feeling like doing anything at all, I can at least say, okay, it's only 5 minutes, set my timer for 5 minutes and work on my French for 5 minutes. And when I say work on my French or practice my French, it can be anything from Duolingo to watching a video in French to working from my French textbook that I have, to writing notes. Anything that's basically just going to help my understanding of the language counts towards that. Ideally, on most days, I will be doing quite a bit more than 5 minutes, but again, I don't want to set my goal too high that it becomes completely unachievable, especially because this is supposed to be a daily habit that I'm setting up, and I want it to be manageable for me to actually keep up with it, because I know if I don't achieve it one day because I didn't feel like, if I'd set like a goal for like half an hour every single day, and if one day I didn't achieve that half an hour, that would be very kind of demotivating for me, and I maybe would not want to continue. But this 5 minutes is very achievable, very manageable for me, so that is what I will focus on. And then finally, the next habit that I want to set up is reading every single evening. So again, even if it's just a page, even if it's just half a page, I want to every night before bed read some of whichever book that I'm reading at the moment. This is also something that I kind of started last year, or 2020, and I kind of got into the habit of reading before bed on a fairly regular basis, but there would be many days where I would go for a couple of days without reading anything, or I wouldn't have bought a book as I was about to finish my next one, so I wouldn't have anything to read for a few days. So I really want to make sure that I'm kind of on top of it with making sure that every single night I have something to read, and that even if it's just a page, I am reading a bit. This is obviously to help with my goal of reading more throughout the year, but it also is a good way to kind of force myself to not be on my phone before bed and really give myself the time to like wind down properly. I do have some other daily habits that I started in 2020 that I like managed to kind of continue throughout the year, that I will be continuing with. So I'll go over those quickly now. The first one is I do 2 minutes of meditation every single morning. That might not sound like a lot to people that are like very used to meditating, but I find that 2 minutes is kind of enough to just ground me as I get up in the morning, and at least it's better than nothing in my eyes. So that is something that I've been doing consistently every single morning for the past, I would say, like month and a half. I've been doing it consistently every single morning. And then for the past, like since the beginning of the year, I've been doing the meditation in the morning. I just was, up until about a month ago, usually on a Sunday I would like sleep in and stay in bed, and then I would skip my meditation. But now I've kind of gotten into the habit of, even if I do sleep in a bit on a Sunday, I still, when I wake up, do my meditation. Even if it's not like first thing in the morning, I still do it every morning, usually within like an hour or so of waking up. Then another habit that I have is my morning and evening like stretches. So every morning I get up and after I've done my meditation, I do some like mobilization and some stretching, and then I've got some exercises from my physio that I do, and I sometimes throw in some ab exercises in there. And that is again something that I started last year, got really consistent with it within the last like month or so, and I want to continue that daily habit into 2021. And then my evening stretches as well. This is something that I was probably the most consistent with throughout 2020, and I definitely want to continue into 2021. It's a nice way for me to kind of like wind down and relax before bed, is to do some stretches in the evening. I use my like foam roller and I roll out any areas that are like stiff or sore from any exercises that I've done, stretch out my back and my neck, and that kind of like winds me down for bed and makes sure that I am staying kind of like mobile and flexible. So yeah, those are all the daily habits that I want to kind of start and continue into 2021. And then finally, I have some specific goals or targets that I've set myself. So the first one is, again, it's related to this whole theme of the year of understanding, and related to these daily habits that I set up. And I like it to be like related. So like the habits that I want to establish feed into the goals, and all of that kind of falls under this umbrella of the general theme that I've set for the year. So the first goal or target that I've set myself is reading at least 12 books this year, at least one a month. So it's not a huge like target. 12 books in the year is not really that many, but it is more than I've read this year and in the previous years, and it is something that I really feel that I can achieve. So I know, because I know that I can achieve it, there's a like very good possibility that I then actually will achieve it. I don't want to set myself a goal that's like read 100 books in the year, and then I know I'm never going to be able to reach that number, so I don't even try. I really want to make it manageable for myself. The next two goals are not as much related to the year of understanding as the previous one, but there are things that I have been working on for quite a while now, and that is to get a flat middle split and a flat split on my right side. This also falls into my kind of like daily habits though. The morning stretches and the evening stretches that I do can tie into this, and I am going to be incorporating some more splits and middle split stretches into those two routines, the morning and the evening routines that I do to try and achieve this goal. And yeah, the flat middle splits and flat splits on my right side have been something that I've been working on for quite a while, and I really want to try and achieve it this year. And then I've got some handstand goals that I want to achieve, things like being able to consistently kick up from the floor without using the wall, achieving my first 10-second balance without any support, are goals that I have for my handstands that are kind of carryover goals from last year. The things I didn't quite manage to achieve last year, but that I still want to continue to focus on this year, although they are not my like main priority. So those are my 2021 goals and intentions and my 2021 theme. This is just the starting point though. I do not like to kind of just set goals once and that's it for the year, and I'm never going to revisit them and I'm never going to adapt them. So these things might change. I might decide that one of my goals I'm actually like far ahead of target for achieving them, and I want to change it and actually expand it. So for example, if by like March I've already read 6 books, I might say, okay, my goal is now to read 24 books for the year. Or if by June I already have a flat middle split, then I'll set another goal for myself. My goals I don't view as static. I view them as adaptable and changing based on the circumstances. So this is kind of like my idea going into 2021 of some of the areas of focus, what I want to achieve, some of the habits that I want to set up. But as always, things will change, life will happen, and we'll see where life takes us in 2021. So I hope that if you were kind of like stuck for some resolutions or ideas of goals or intentions that you could set for 2021, this has maybe given you some ideas that you could incorporate into your own life. I would really recommend that you go watch that CGP Grey video that I talked about yearly themes. I will have it again linked in the description down below. It's a really, really helpful and useful video. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it and kind of gave me a good excuse to really go over all of my intentions and my goals again. And I also think it'll be nice to kind of like reflect back on at the end of the year. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in seeing more videos from me, and hit the like button if you happened to like this video. Goodbye.